And welcome everyone to this think tank. At our digital content services unit, we track emerging digital content services such as immersive technologies and the metaverse, as well as other evolving B2C and B2B subjects such as content delivery and management, marketing and advertising, digital workplace and services, and other topics. Here with me is Lara Forlino. Lara, would you like to say a few words before deep diving into the report itself?
For sure. Thank you very much for the introduction, Ala, and welcome everybody to this session. My name is Lara Forlino. I am an industry analyst for Frost & Sullivan ICT Digital Content Services Research Unit. And today we will present and analyze the information we collect on Frost & Sullivan's IT Decision Maker Survey, which is related to the adoption of immersive services and metaverse-related technologies. So very happy to be speaking today and excited to show you how different types of organizations perceive and use these technologies and how they are leveraging and benefiting from them as well.
Excellent, Lara. Thank you so much. So just for your information, we've been doing this report for several years now in a row, and it's always excellent to take a look at the latest findings around immersive technologies and the metaverse. So having said that, and before we start to analyzing the findings, Lara, could you please explain how the survey works and who is the audience and what is the purpose of it?
Yes, of course. So as you just said, Frost & Sullivan has been doing this survey on an annual basis for the past 15 years. So this means that since 2010, we have been gathering all this information on what IT decision makers and business decision makers think about and how they use a broad range of different technologies in the ICT realm, such as the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and the cloud as well. But for the past 3 years in particular, since the popularity of both the metaverse and immersive services expanded rapidly, we added a whole new section and a new set of questions to the survey with the purpose of understanding how different types of companies approach these technologies that we believe have a lot of business potential. And the ultimate goal, I would say, of this survey is to be able to examine the views of the specific people who are responsible for investing in and adopting these technologies, but also to understand why they choose to do that or why they don't choose to do that. So some of the questions we try to answer here, for example, are why businesses are eager to make a big investment effort to implement these technologies, what are the benefits, what are the challenges or concerns. And we ask these questions to more than 1,000 decision makers that come from a wide range of global regions, industries, company sizes, and roles. I can show you more about the respondent profile on the following slides.
Sure.
So we can see the respondent profile for this edition. Here, as I said, respondents are located on different regions, different countries, different markets and continents. They also come from multiple industries, from architecture to healthcare and high tech. Survey respondents also come from different types of companies of all sizes, small, medium, or large businesses. There are people with different types of roles and titles within those organizations answering the survey as well. So yeah, that's a little bit of how the respondent how varied the respondent profile is and who the audience of this survey is as well.
Now, this is excellent. It's actually a pretty comprehensive survey, as you're saying, with 2,000 plus respondents, and it has a lot of data from different verticals and different markets, business sizes. So that's excellent as well to have. So Lara, tell me, are all the survey respondents familiar with these types of technologies? I'm sure that this is the familiarity with the XR technologies range is growing, has been growing across the years, right?
Yeah, that is actually a very important aspect of how this survey works, because the answer is no, not all participants are familiar with these technologies, which is what we expected beforehand, because both the metaverse and immersive technologies have been around for a while, as you said, but they're still seen as something new, generally speaking. So we filter who answers these questions, preserving only the participants that have either high or moderate level of knowledge and felt confident answering questions about immersive technologies on one hand and the metaverse on the other hand. As you can see here, between 86 and 89% of the total survey respondents have either high or moderate level of knowledge of these technologies. This is a notable increase from last year's result as well, because last year around 63% of respondents were knowledgeable of these technologies. Just one final thing to say here is that there are slightly more people knowledgeable about immersive technology than the metaverse as well.
Sure. Yeah, the metaverse notion is still kind of reshaping and across the years, so it definitely makes sense. So we can start covering, I think, the findings related to immersive services. And in that sense, do businesses care about immersive tech? Is there a place for them across enterprises? What is happening there?
Yeah, they definitely care about immersive services. But let me just say that there are different types of immersive technologies as well. So here on this slide, we can see 4 different types of immersive technologies, which are assisted reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality. All of these technologies vary in terms of the form of human interaction they generate with virtual elements. That is why we use the term the spectrum of immersiveness. Virtual reality, or VR, is the most extreme form, let me say, of immersive technology, because virtual reality fully immerses users into a simulated virtual world. But all the others, MR, AR, and SAR, they combine the physical and digital components to merge reality with virtual elements. They allow more and less interaction. I mean, mixed reality allows more interaction with digital elements than augmented reality, and augmented reality in turn permits more interaction than assisted reality as well. So having explained this, only a very small group of respondents do not care about these technologies at all, which is between 6 and 7%, as we can see here. All of the others, to a higher or lower level, they are interested in immersive services. The results show that organizations are slightly more interested in assisted reality and augmented reality, which are the less extreme forms of immersive technology. As I was saying, technologies that overlay digital elements into reality. These are also newer forms of immersive services that are developing very fast and that are being applied to industries and new use cases such as healthcare, remote customer care, or maintenance, for example, as well.
Makes total sense. And it's interesting to see how things are shifting through each year. Virtual reality has been existing for so long time, but it's nice to see that assisted reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, the proportion of interest, extremely interest or very interest is actually increasing across the year. So that's very good. So beyond having an interest in immersive technologies, are organizations already starting to use or experimenting with them today? What is happening there?
Yeah, actually, only 30%, 3 out of 10 or 30% of organizations approximately already moved to some type of commercial deployment.
Okay.
The majority of participants are actually in the phase of watching and learning or evaluating how immersive services can add value to their businesses. Approximately 60% of them are running trials and proof of concepts. But we believe that as VR, AR, SAR, and MR use cases emerge and grow across different types of industries, immersive technology will be more and more incorporated into workflows in the upcoming years. And in fact, there are differences in terms of implementations between each one of the 4 types of immersive technologies I mentioned before. And you just said that virtual reality has been around for a long time. So what we can see here is that VR is actually the most used type of immersive service currently. I mean, even though most of the organizations interested in immersive services are either using these technologies or planning to use them within the next 2 years, virtual reality is the most used one, and its usage remains higher than the others, mainly because it's the oldest type of immersive technology available. But aside from that, the results show that is a trend towards adopting the others too. I mean, augmented reality, assisted reality, and mixed reality. We can expect to see more adoption of these other types of immersive technology in the following 24 months.
No, that's excellent. And I agree with you. I mean, we are seeing a lot of innovation happening in the AR, MR space with the launches of new devices, from the Meta Quest 3 to the Apple Vision Pro in 2024, as well to the Sony PlayStation VR 2. All these are actually helping to expand use cases of the AR, MR piece of the equation. So that's I'm 100% agreeing with you here. So what are the main use cases for immersive technologies today?
Yeah, so we have 2 questions related to use cases for immersive services that we can comment on, because we wanted to explore current use cases for immersive technology, but also future use cases, because we wanted to see if the main use cases will change in the next 2 years. And the answer is not really. According to this survey, at least the top 3 use cases will remain very similar as they are now in the future. And these are workforce teamwork, communication and collaboration, connecting with customers, and product design and development. And something interesting here is that organizations leverage immersive technology for both internal and external workflows, because on one hand, we have workforce teamwork, communication and collaboration, and product design and development, which are internal processes, right? But on the other hand, we also have use cases such as connecting with customers or even marketing and advertising that are related to external audiences, raising brand awareness, to new ways to engage with customers, with new experiences, and reaching them through immersive advertising or modern marketing initiatives. And I think these technologies have the power to do that, to innovate, to enhance processes that ultimately will benefit both employees and consumers as well. Especially in the era that we live now, remote working or hybrid working practices, remote education, e-commerce, online shopping, basically because of the increasing amount of time we all spend online. So as the world becomes more digital, there will be more chances and more ways of using these technologies to drive efficiencies, to differentiate from competitors and innovate, of course.
Oh, that's very interesting. It's interesting as well to see supporting field workers and partners and immersive events and conference to be in the lower list of the equation. I would have supposed to, I thought that we would see it a little bit higher than this, but maybe in the future with the incorporation of especially supporting field workers and partners, I believe with the advent and with the progress of AR and MR, we'll see more progress of that and the supporting field workers and partners piece of the equation being higher. The same way retail and e-commerce, I believe, with AR and MR development, we would tend to see that advancing, more towards the top. Very interesting. Let me ask you, if we look ahead, what can we expect to see in terms of immersive tech adoption? Sorry.
Yeah. So the main thing we can expect is an increase in investment efforts. So on this slide, we can see the result of the question, how do you envision your investment to change over the next 2 years? The results show that almost 70% of respondents envision their investment to grow, which is actually consistent with the increasing number of companies moving projects from proof of concept technology to commercial deployments that we showed before. And this has also increased compared to last year's results, when only 60% of organizations said their investment was expected to increase in the next 2 years. So I think that nowadays we are seeing a lot of investment in immersive services and extended reality device development that is taking this technology to the next level and that is driving adoption among a wider group of industries such as retail, fashion, healthcare, for example. And that's why we can expect more money invested in this in the future as well.
Very interesting, Lara. What are the factors preventing companies to invest in or adopt these technologies? I mean, let's focus on the restraints piece of the equation here.
Yeah, that is a great thing to take into account as well, because while we can expect to see growing investment efforts in immersive services, a considerable part of it would also be determined by how the concerns organizations have evolved and how they or their immersive tech partners solve those concerns and challenges. So as we can see here, the main concerns about investing in immersive technologies are related to the cost of implementing VR, AR, SAR, and MR services. Almost half of respondents are worried about those high costs associated with immersive service adoption. This is mainly due to the high price points of devices, immersive tech devices, and also software development. But also, IT decision makers are equally concerned about privacy, data security, and regulations. the emerging data and compliance regulations, and also the possibilities of cyber attacks or data breaches increase skepticism about investing in immersive services, because of course, adopting these technologies can increase the amount of personal data of users that are interacting and using immersive services, which can be in turn, targets of cyber attacks, for example. So these are the factors that are majorly restraining growth in the market, hampering immersive services democratization. And that is also why when organizations select immersive service providers, they take into account factors related to these challenges. That's why we also ask what factors are most important to you when choosing an immersive technology vendor to work with your organization. And again, data security and privacy capabilities are the most valuable feature for buyers. The results suggest that businesses want to partner with immersive technology providers that can safeguard sensitive data and deal effectively with increasingly complex challenges of cyber attacks and data breaches. But also, as the concerns related to investing in this type of technology suggested, decision makers also value immersive solutions that have easy implementation processes, as the learning curve can be sometimes very high for IT professionals. So the conclusion is immersive service providers that can offer agile implementation, smooth onboarding, high quality support, and as well as the ones that can meet the industry's highest data and security standards. Those are the vendors that are better positioned to scale in this evolving market.
Oh, definitely. And Lara, can you move back to the previous slide if you don't mind? One thing that I would like to say is that we've been conducting different reports on the evolution of XR technologies. One report that we've been doing is the impact of XR in the healthcare space for training and education for intra-surgical procedures, as well as we did a recent report on XR in the retail space. In CY 2024, so in last year, the XR space has been impacted a little bit. So of course, all participants that we spoke with, they reported growth, but challenging economic times kind of impacted a little bit the growth rate. That's first. And second, we would tend to see what is going to happen in this year's report in 2025 when we do the survey, because everything what is happening with the tariffs, wars, and supply chain disruptions might actually impact the cost of implementing the technologies even further. So having said that, maybe when we do the survey results for this year, for 2025, the cost of implementing the technologies, instead of 45%, it's going to be 50 or 55%. I'm assuming because of everything what is happening with the tariff wars and all the issues happening today. So that is actually impacting supply chain, chips, hardware piece of the equation, et cetera, and the software piece of the equation is tied to the hardware piece. But having said that, we still expect for 2025 the market of XR technologies to continue to advance, to continue to progress, and for that growth rate to continue to be a healthy growth rate in spite of the turmoil and all the macroeconomic situation that is happening today. Thank you, Lara, for these findings for immersive technologies. I will make a small stop before we move to the Metaverse findings and hand it in to Julieta for a poll question. Julieta?
Thank you, Ala. So you can see our poll question on Zoom. Can Frost & Sullivan be your transformation partner? You can talk to our experts to dive deeper into transformational strategies and explore specific needs within your company. Or you can join Frost & Sullivan's Growth Council and gain access to growth webinars focused on transformational growth strategies. Or you can designate your company as a company to action to increase exposure to investors, new M&A opportunities, and other growth prospects for your business. Or you can become a Frost growth expert in your area of specialty and share your expertise and passion with the community through our growth webinars. So I will leave this poll open for 10 minutes, and once the growth webinar concludes, Frost & Sullivan team will connect with you to discuss your responses. If you're on LinkedIn, feel free to submit your responses in the comment section. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Julieta. And before moving to the metaverse again, another main concern that has been going on for the previous years for the immersive tech industry was the lack of clear ROI. I believe this is becoming clearer and clearer across the years. I believe if we compare the report that we did 3 years ago and the survey, the lack of clear ROI was a major concern. Now it is year after year, businesses are understanding the ROI behind XR technologies for training, for education, for communication and collaboration, as you've shown, et cetera, et cetera. Do you agree with this, Lara?
Definitely. And companies are starting to select and track more sophisticated KPIs to measure how their immersive services adoption and immersive experiences perform. So these, of course, play a role as well in determining how successful are their investment on these technologies too.
Definitely, Lara. And one more aspect that we can point out is that in the survey as well, there are questions around the type of headsets or head-mounted displays being used or glasses being used in the enterprise setting. And what we found is that Microsoft, HoloLens, the Metas of the world, HTC are being pretty widely adopted across businesses. Is that correct, Lara?
Yeah, you're right.
Sure. Excellent. So let's move now to the notion, to the concept of metaverse and see some of the findings there. What do survey respondents think about the metaverse? I know that metaverse has been in a hype like 2 years ago. Then kind of Gen AI and everything what happened with artificial intelligence kind of overshadowed a little bit the notion of metaverse. But what can you tell me about this, and what do survey respondents think about metaverse?
Yeah, so let's talk about the metaverse then. And businesses still care, and they really care about the metaverse as well as was the case with immersive services. The results of the 2024 edition of the survey shows that 9 out of 10 respondents believe the metaverse holds significant or some business potential for their organizations. This was actually an increase from the 2023 results when 75% of participants responded the same way, indicating that more organizations believe the metaverse can add value to their businesses. However, metaverse-related technologies are still considered newer than immersive services, as you pointed out earlier. So for this reason, the majority of survey respondents are either watching and learning or researching, the metaverse potential for their businesses. And on the other hand, there is a still small number, I would say, of organizations that are already implementing metaverse-related technologies. So having said this, the metaverse is opening plenty of opportunities for a wide group of industry verticals, such as telcos, manufacturing, automotive, and so on. So we'll probably see more companies transitioning from research activities to early metaverse adoption in the future as this application matures.
That's very interesting. Yes, telcos are trying to reap off the benefits of their 5G infrastructure and everything that's happening there. The same thing as we are seeing growth in the industrial metaverse as well. So that's a very exciting area there. So is metaverse implementation is expected to increase in the upcoming years?
Yeah, we have found that there is definitely an appetite among respondents when it comes to adopting metaverse solutions. So if we look at respondents that are currently watching and learning about the metaverse, the majority of them plan to adopt metaverse-related technologies either in the next 12 months or within the next 2 to 3 years. So metaverse technology is advancing rapidly, and there are large technology firms that are continuously investing in immersive worlds. That is accelerating, metaverse development further and will drive metaverse adoption forward. You just mentioned the telcos. Telcos were one of the major metaverse builders. We have the case of SK Telecom, Telefonica, for example.
Sure.
So metaverse development and plans for adoptions are increasing. However, when we look at businesses that already or are currently using metaverse-related technologies rather than the one that are still exploring and learning, as we just did, the pictures change a little bit. Around half of the companies that are currently using metaverse-related technologies said their investment will remain the same for the next 2 years. And 36% of the organizations with ongoing metaverse implementation are planning to decrease their investment in these technologies. If you ask me from my point of view, and given that 90% of respondents believe the metaverse can add value to their businesses, this can be probably attributed to factors such as the challenging economic conditions, constraining technology budgets, and the high cost of implementation, as we have seen on the case of immersive technology. So for organizations that already moved or already adopted metaverse-related technologies, but plan to decrease investments, the decision is probably not related to a lack of business potential, at least according to this survey, but rather to other factors such as high implementation costs.
Makes sense, Lara. And just to give our audience the notion of what we understand as the metaverse, be it Frost and Sullivan. So it's actually a broad and evolving concept, as Lara says, that could represent the convergence of the physical and digital worlds. But our understanding is it's an interconnected network of persistent 3D worlds and simulations where end users are enabled with a sense of social presence and spatial awareness and can participate in an extensive virtual economy. So in that sense, it's not only limited to immersive virtual worlds. A metaverse could be a mixture of the physical and the virtual world. So this is where elements such as AR and MR are there as well. Of course, there is engaging elements of it, also the digital identity of it, and the economy and monetization piece of the equation, such as the cryptocurrency, tokens, NFTs, the content creation, the governance, et cetera. And of course, there is also the AI piece of the equation, which is advancing. So when we take a look at the different components of the metaverse, there are components that are advancing very well, which is, for instance, the immersive technologies, which is advancing very well, as well, the piece of the equation of the AI and intelligence layer with conversational AI, procedural generation, and all that is advancing as well very well. The one that is more challenged a little bit is the piece of the equation of the cryptocurrency, blockchain, et cetera, which has been a little bit challenged during the past year or so. But then other layers such as edge computing, 5G, cloud computing, et cetera, are also advancing. So in other words, if we look at the overall picture, I think many of the different components of the metaverse are advancing very well. And so the picture is pretty positive on the notion of the metaverse. And just wanted to clarify that. So having said that, Lara, are businesses planning to leverage the metaverse in the same way they use immersive technologies? Are the use cases similar? What can you tell me around that?
Yes, there are a lot of similarities indeed. There is definitely a synergy between immersive services and the metaverse. However, when it comes to metaverse, there is a clear focus on customers when companies think about how they can leverage these kinds of applications. So according to the survey, the leading benefit companies expect when joining the metaverse is increased innovation and creativity. You know, again, in a world that is becoming increasingly digital, the metaverse provides organization with an opportunity to use innovative technology to enhance virtual interactions, both internally and externally. This is why helping research and development also ranks very high as an expected benefit of joining the metaverse. Businesses are leveraging metaverse-related technologies to create immersive experiences such as labs, digital twins, showrooms, test rooms. They are leveraging these technologies to boost engagement among both employees and customers as well. And yeah, what we're seeing is that businesses want to take advantage of the immersive potential of the metaverse, and they are using it to create experiences that are more realistic and interactive, and that can add value and enhance how they connect, how they collaborate, and how they engage and interact with each other and with customers as well.
Very interesting, Lara. Thank you for that. Can you tell us more about the forces that are restraining today the metaverse adoption?
Yeah, this is again, the restraints are again very similar to what we have discussed in the case of immersive services, because the two major concerns for IT decision makers are the high implementation costs and security or data privacy when adopting metaverse-related technology. So on one hand, the high price points of both device and software related to the metaverse, and on the other hand, when more users join metaverse-based spaces, more data become potential targets of cyber attacks. A significant number of organizations are also concerned about their staff having insufficient training, which is also logical for technologies that are still in the early development stages. Yeah. As expected, these are also the factors that companies take into account that have an impact when looking at potential partners for developing and implementing a metaverse solution within their organizations. You know, survey participants prefer metaverse solutions with strong data and security standards. They also prefer metaverse solutions that support integrations with software and services they already use to leverage previous investments in other systems, as well as solutions with agile implementation processes and that are easy to use. So these are the features that are essential for organizations looking to partner with metaverse solution providers that play a role in the selection of an appropriate vendor, because they directly impact time to market and implementation costs, either for personal onboarding or software development.
Makes total sense, Lara. Thank you. My last question is, how are these organizations planning to engage with existing metaverse platforms? Are they seeking to form partnerships or collaborate with them? How is the model today?
They are, yes, but there are different ways in which organizations can engage with existing metaverse platforms, and they can also choose to not engage at all. So as we can see on this slide, there are multiple adoption models for metaverse-related technologies. Some businesses decide to develop their own immersive worlds, while others delegate metaverse development to third-party platforms, or they can also implement a hybrid or mixed model combining both strategies. In 2024, almost half of participants chose a hybrid implementation, which is, again, in-house development combined with partnerships with metaverse-related companies. This type of implementation is actually growing because in the previous edition of the survey, only a third of respondents selected a mixed strategy. The thing is, this is a very strategic or appealing implementation type because existing metaverse platforms have, of course, a lot of immersive technology and metaverse development experience, but organizations can also maintain some level of control over their metaverse development and implementation with this strategy. This is very interesting from my point of view because it shows us there is an opportunity for partnerships and collaboration between metaverse developers or metaverse builders and companies operating in a really varied range of industries that want to join the metaverse and develop metaverse solutions and benefit from it. Related to this question as well, to how organizations are planning to engage with existing metaverse platforms, we asked survey participants two final questions. Firstly, we asked about their knowledge or familiarity with existing companies or projects related to the metaverse. And secondly, we asked with which one of these projects or companies are you likely to engage, partner, or collaborate with? The results show a strong association between how popular among respondents metaverse projects are and the plan or willingness of survey participants to engage with them. So as we can see here, metaverse projects led by tech giants such as Google, Apple, or Meta, those are the ones that rank higher in both familiarity and plans to collaborate with them. So the main takeaway here is that there is a quite significant growth opportunity and an opportunity for collaboration to accelerate metaverse development, to bring immersive worlds to life. There are opportunities for different types of companies, such as metaverse builders, immersive service providers, even anti-piracy or content protection service vendors to work together to innovate, create new immersive solutions for businesses as well.
That's very interesting, Lara, because I mean it's interesting that Google appears as number one. I understand why. I mean, while Google isn't building a metaverse in the traditional sense, it's really deeply embedded in really the underlying stack of it. It has AR, AI, cloud, content delivery, and search, et cetera, et cetera. So, and it also has very interesting projects out there related to the metaverse, such as Google Glass, AR Core, Immersive View in Google Maps, et cetera, et cetera. It's also interesting to see Apple in the top. It's, of course, it's very involved in the metaverse with the Vision Pro and Vision OS, as well as the AR Kit. But as well, it has a strong play in digital identity and avatars, privacy control and experience, et cetera, et cetera. So very interesting, Lara. Thank you for that. Just as a final note, so thank you for all these findings about the metaverse. Excellent to know about them. Just for our audience, can you show some of the list of the studies related to the metaverse and immersive tech that we've been doing within the last 3 years?
Yeah, before we finish, we wanted to show you a list of recent studies that we have done related to both immersive technologies and the metaverse. We at Frost & Sullivan, and in particular our digital content services research group, we have been extensively covering these two topics. And you can see on this list that apart from the reports based on this survey, we have a lot of different reports, just to name a few. We have reports related to European metaverse, NFTs, industrial metaverse growth opportunities. We also have a lot of Frost radars, which are our proprietary indexing methodology, where we benchmark the top participants of different markets based on their innovation and growth performance. So yeah, we have Frost radars on commercial XR hardware, personal, extended reality hardware as well. You can see all of the material here, a lot of options to choose for those who are interested.
Excellent, Lara, excellent. Thank you so much for your time and for shedding some light of our latest industry survey. Attendees, please feel free to contact us for any to zoom in on any specific aspect of the survey or the reports listed in here. It has been a real pleasure to speak to you, and looking forward to engage with you on an after basis.